Hi guys, today is actually my first time doing my first video, and I'm gonna do it based on my personal experience on sponsorship within Canada when it comes to sponsoring your spouse. Actually, I never sponsored anybody before, and it was my first time doing a sponsorship, and it was for my husband. We met actually, just to give you a quick information on our story, and I know this could be like a random video I'm making today, but I think it might help some of you who are starting or planning to start an application in Canada for your spouse or your family or for your own children. But before I start, I want to just to quickly tell you a bit of my personal background. My husband is from South Korea. I am Canadian citizen, and I am Spanish. We met, actually our story is quite, how you would say, is quite different than other people, in the sense that we met online, and we actually had never met in person before we decided to get married, and it was just something we just decided to do. I fell in love, you can say, and it's just something we both decided to, because we care about each other and love each other. And yes, I can be a bit crazy, and just decided to go with the idea. So we met online, and we had never had met in person before. So after talking for maybe like 6 and 8 months, I believe, online, of course we wanted to be together. I don't know, you can say this is crazy young love. But I asked him, like, do you want to come live here with me? And at first he was like, why don't you come live here with me in Korea? But honestly, I love the Asian culture, but I will never actually want to live inside Korea. I know it's a beautiful country, beautiful culture, beautiful, awesome people, but I love my country. I love it here. I love Canada. And so he actually ended up coming here on March 7 of 2016. And we got married on March 26 of 2016. So a couple of days after we ended up getting married in the church. His family came as well, and my parents were there, my friends, everybody was there supporting us, which was quite surprising for me, because the fact that we met online, many people would think, oh, you know what, this is not gonna work. And of course we got a lot of negative feedback from other people and some of my friends, but you know, we stayed strong together, and we knew what we felt for each other was real, and what I felt for him was real. So that's all that mattered, what we felt for each other. At first his family was not so happy about the idea, but they got used to it. Okay, so that's just a quick background of our story. So he had never been in Canada before. It was his first time coming here. I never sponsored anybody before. I mean, I didn't even know how to start this whole process of sponsorship. So that was kind of crazy. After we got married, we actually got married in the church. Since I'm Christian, we got married in a Christian church. All family was there, friends, everything was awesome. But I knew that the sponsorship process was gonna be not so easy, because since we had never met each other before, and it was his first time coming to Canada, I knew that was gonna be kind of like a red flag for immigration when we sent our application. So my goal was to make sure that our application would be perfect, like everything would be okay, but that our story, that it will be convincing enough for immigration to accept my husband for his permanent resident in Canada. So after we got married and our honeymoon, we actually had our honeymoon in Canada as well. So yes, after, I would say, what was that, March, April, May, June, we sent the entire application for spousal sponsorship within Canada on July, the 1st of July 2016. So just like for a couple of months after we got married. And the reason why I sent it quite late and not right away is because first I wanted to get some we were waiting for my husband's police check from Australia, because he had lived in Australia before, and it is recommended in the application to send police checks of the places you have been. So it took him a while to get his police check from Australia, which he had to do through the online. So that was kind of delay a little bit of me sending the application right away, after 2 months getting married. So after I sent the application, they received it on July 15 of, so just like 2 weeks after I sent it, something like that, they got it. And so before I begin with the whole thing, just wanna say, yeah, after, what was I gonna say? Oh my god, I forgot everything already. So when I started filling up the application, honestly, I was quite shocked of everything they ask. I mean, basically you have to write down like your entire story, how you guys met, what we did, and we had to provide a lot of proof, of course. The application itself, to fill it out online, was a big challenge. I know right now the government has changed a couple of things in the application. I mean, from what I know, the application, speaking with one of my friends lately who's sponsoring her husband, it's much easier than the old application. Unfortunately, the application I sent on July was the old version of sponsorship. The government has changed certain rules. Now it's quicker, I guess. It's a 12-month process rather than 2 years. And so when I sent this application, it was the old format, and there was many things that it was very challenging. I mean, if you plan to write it online, sometimes like you don't have enough space to type, so I had to print everything down, just do it by hand. I thought that was the easiest way. One thing I definitely did was, whenever I attach a lot of proof, like movie tickets, the price of the wedding rings, I put the receipt there. I mean, I always keep a copy for yourself, but I copy everything. Like, I printed out pictures. I mean, probably like I sent approximately, I think, 65 pictures. I sent movie receipts, all the movies him had watched throughout the 3 months that he had been here. I sent a letter saying our current home address, that we're currently living with my parents at the moment, and I made my dad sign it actually. I sent as much as proof I could think of. Definitely I sent a joint bank account that we both open under both of our names, which is honestly, I think is very important. If you're planning to sponsor your husband or like your spouse, proof is gonna be everything. For the immigration officer, they're gonna be looking at everything. One of my biggest fear was my income. My income was quite low. I mean, I still live with my parents back then, not anymore, but I used to. And I did not have a good income since I just had finished college, and I hadn't started working yet. So when I applied, I was very worried about my income. Some people were saying you have to have a certain income and certain money saved. Honestly, I had nothing saved, and at first I was like, oh my god, this could be a problem. They could reject the application because of my income. I mean, I am sponsoring him, and I'm gonna be responsible for him, so I thought this could be a problem. But as I did my research online and I searched many things, I got a lot of feedback from other people. It doesn't really matter your income like as much. Like, they don't really, I would say, they see that as a must do, but of course it's recommended. I mean, you need to have some sort of money coming in, even if it's like minimum wage or something. That I don't think it really matters. So I was kind of worried, and but we did make a joint bank account. I sent all those documents there. Like I said, pictures, movie tickets, the receipts of the wedding rings. Also, I placed what else? I think I put, yes, I did so. After I collected as much proof as I could, I did send an application on July 2016, like I said. Some of the things I want to show you guys what I did was, basically, I wrote like our entire story. Just want to give you a quick glance. So for the pictures, what I did is I printed them out, and then this is just copy of it, but of course everything was color, not black and white. And basically I wrote extra pictures and proof on the top, and for each picture I wrote what it was. For example, this picture, I said this is my my bachelor party with all my coworkers before I got married on February 27, 2016. Some of the wedding gifts and wedding letters from my. I even sent copy of my wedding card invitations, and even some of the letters my coworkers had given me, congratulating me. I photocopy them and I send it with application. I mean, I wanted to prove to immigration that our marriage was real. Like, it wasn't us trying to cheat on the system. We want to be together. So I would say the package was this thick. I mean, I sent a lot of proof, picture, receipts, bank information. I even sent pictures of the wedding reception when his family, myself, all of us together. For each picture, I did a mini description, who the people were there, who the people that were in the picture, what we were doing, and the date is very important. I wrote a date for each picture and the place. And we also had a very small wedding, actually, very small wedding. Our reception was actually in a restaurant, and we also attached in the application the receipt of how much we paid for the restaurant. So, and after, I just wrote in detail for each week and what I did with my husband while he was here, our dates, like, oh, we went to this movie, oh, we went to downtown, oh, we went to this restaurant together, we ended up walking together after we ate. I mean, I was so detailed about every single thing I wrote. I basically wrote on our entire story before I sent the application to immigration. So all this information was also a part of the application for the sponsorship. And one thing I did not send was our conversations that we had that I had with my husband while he was in Korea. What happened was my app got deleted and all those messages were deleted, and I was really scared because now how I'm gonna prove that me and him have been talking all this time, right? But so this is why I made my the application for sponsorship really, like, I tried to make it as genuine as possible by providing as much proof as possible. And one thing I noticed is that a lot of people that I mean, I have spoken to a lot of people that had done have sponsored their husbands or their wife, is that even when they when I asked them when they say to me the reason why they got rejected, and one of the reasons I was fine is because they never send enough proof. You gotta send pictures, you gotta talk about the details, name the people that are in the picture. For example, in these pictures I put like this, and of course I made it very organized. Right now I'm very disorganized because honestly I just randomly thought today, why not do a video based on my personal experience on how I sponsored my husband while within Canada. You can say, so after I collected all the documents I needed, I filled up the application, I sent the application, and I would say within 2 or 3 months we got a letter from immigration saying they have received the application, and they gave us like a code, like a number, you can say. So I was, one of the things I made a mistake was, I don't know about now how they do it, but when I send the application for sponsorship, it is recommended that you also attach the application for an open work permit. I was supposed to do it for my husband, but I didn't do it. I just sent just the sponsorship application. I sent it, and after 2 months I sent the application for my husband's open work permit, which was completely, honestly, I regret it because it made my husband's approval for his open work permit take such a long time. They say that if you send it with within the same package with your sponsorship application, you will receive it faster. You will get the open work permit faster. I mean, my husband came here with a visitor status as a visitor. He came here with not a work permit or a student permit, not at all. So he was just with a visitor. So of course we needed to apply for at least a work permit. So I sent the open work permit sometime in September of 2016, and actually he didn't get approved until the next year, the 1st of January 2017. He got his open work permit form. So it's basically like kind of like one-page paper. I have it here, but I don't want to show it because it does have my husband's information in it, and due to privacy reasons I'm not going to show it, but it's 1 page long. It's basically your permit form, so you're able to work in Canada while you are waiting for an answer from immigration if you get accepted or not to stay here. So it honestly took a long time for my husband to be approved for his open work permit. And every time I called immigration, they said, oh, we're processing it. And I asked them how long it will take. They obviously are not going to tell you exactly how long it takes. They just give me approximately time. And honestly, it was like a nightmare because he was here with a visitor permit, and we were like thinking his visitor permit is going to expire in 6 months, right? And that's the longer he can stay here. And we were just like, I was very nervous, but they said not to worry, that as long as like we have sent application for his PR, it's okay, like just wait till you get your open work permit. So after he got it, maybe 5-6 months later, on January 2017, yeah, he was able to start working, because technically you are not allowed to work in Canada if you don't have a work permit. And which made it really hard for my husband, especially for him being here for the first time in Canada, not having his family and friends, and not being able to either study or work. It was really tough. So after he got it, of course he started working. He started doing these small jobs here and there. We did not hear from immigration sometime in February of 2017, when they requested his medical check, which is basically when you go to get your medical check. The government requires certain requirements, how I guess certain, I don't know, medical stuff that they want to know from you if you're really sick, like if you're sick or not. So we end up doing it on February 3rd of 2017. They will send you a letter specifically how long you have to get those medical checks done, and you better do it as soon as possible because they do give you a deadline. And basically you go to they give you a list of certain doctors you can go to. It's not just any doctor. I thought he can go to just any doctor. No, they have specific doctors that do this kind of work. So we went to one near our house. The good thing, it was close by. The nearest doctor was like 40 minutes away, and we ended up going there, and they did charge us a $50 fee for it. I thought it would be more expensive, but it wasn't, just $50, which was awesome. So that was one of the good things. After he did his medical check, we did not hear from immigration. I was kind of nervous because I was thinking like, oh, I hope everything went well. We were kind of nervous about it. So I kept calling immigration. And to be honest, to get a hold of immigration, it can take you maybe 2 or 1 hour to get a hold of immigration. It's a very busy line, especially if you're calling from Toronto. So I usually call around 6 p.m. in Toronto time, and I'm usually able to get a hold of them. But between 9 and 4 is really hard to get a hold of immigration. So honestly, it was really hard for us, especially for me, because I'm the one that was sponsoring him, and it was I felt like it was my job to do all this stuff for my husband. So after, is there something I'm missing? Yes. So regarding how much it cost for the sponsorship application, I paid $1,050. I don't know if they have increased the price or not, but when I paid on July 2016, I paid $1,050 for the application. So I have a story about that later, actually. After I attached, you have to put the receipt within the application and then you send it. So this is something I kind of forgot to mention. After you pay, make sure you keep a copy to yourself, and you also put the copy for immigration when you send the application to immigration for the PR application. So I think yes, since it was my first time applying to sponsor someone, I honestly made a lot of mistakes in the application, and this is something that delayed our application a lot. So around, I say 5 to 6 times the immigration officer sent us requests to keep fixing form IMM 5669. This form was my biggest challenge because the way you have to write it can be quite challenging. I didn't understand what is it that they were asking for, and every time you send it, they will return it back, fix it, please fix this, give more detail. Maybe some of you will understand what I'm saying. This is form IMM 5669. I don't know if it has changed or not, but back then, like, honestly, it was really hard. So throughout the whole process of the sponsorship, I made a lot of mistakes in the application, that the officer will send letters, say please send, they will extra papers that they require from us, and certain things that we needed to fix. I did not pay a lawyer. I did not seek any legal assistance because they can be very expensive. So I didn't do that, but I did make a lot of mistakes which delayed the application quite a bit. So I mean, if you want to make sure you're doing everything right in the application, then I highly suggest you find some support and some help, somebody that can help you fill the application in the proper way, because it can make things a bit faster. Because if you make a mistake, immigration will send you a letter saying you need to fix this, you need to give us this, and that's gonna take a while. So that was one of the things we went through. The other thing is, after we send the medical checks, the doctor sent it on February 5th, I think. It was already in the system 2 months later. Medical checks received. There is a number that you can call where if you put your your UCI number and your case number on the phone line, you'll be able to hear how your process is going without having to speak to a customer representative. So that's pretty good. I like that, because sometimes I'll be able to get quick information how things are going just by hearing the automated system with information on how our process is going. So it took 2 months for it to be updated on their system. After that, I say we heard from immigration again. This was on September 2017. Basically asking again for police checks. Honestly, I sent police checks on my husband when I sent the application in July, but they requested again. I'm not sure why, but they did. So we sent it again, and there was a big problem in September. I remember. I thought they requested, because I got a letter saying, please send your police checks of yourself and your following family members, and they give you a timeline when you can send those documents, right? So I thought they were requesting for my husband's family police check as well. So I actually sent my husband's parents' police check and my husband's police check to immigration. And what happened is, immigration confused my husband's police check with his mom, who had been in a car accident in South Korea, and they thought my husband was the one who caused the accident when he was living here. So they mixed up my husband's police check with his mom's police check, which became a huge problem, because on November of 2017, we got a letter saying, oh, we have noticed that you have a criminal record under your driving license or something like that. And they asked us to explain the situation. At first I was shocked because my husband's like, I had never done anything wrong, never been in an accident, never hurt anybody, and they're saying that I caused an accident and hurt someone. So basically we found out it was because of my husband's mother's police check that had that in her police check. The officer got confused, and I also got confused, and it was also my mistake. But I wish the officer could have taken his time to see that it was actually not his police check, because each police check had a different name, right? My husband's police check had his name, his mom's police check had her name. So I was like, oh my god. So I called immigration. I can't even tell you how many times throughout this whole process I have called immigration to fix things, to ask about how things are going. I mean, it can become a very stressful situation. It's not easy at all. And I remember telling immigration, there's a mistake. Like, my husband didn't do this. They asked me to make a letter explaining the situation and send it through their online inquiry system that they have. And I did. And it took them probably, probably 3 months to be able to fix the problem and for the officer to fix the problem. So I would say be very cautious while you're doing the application, because sometimes they do make mistakes, and it can become a big problem later and delay things a lot. So actually, around December 2017, we noticed that my husband's work permit was about to expire. And I mean, in order to stay in Canada, you have to keep your status, right? So, and we hadn't been approved yet. Honestly, I was losing hope. Like, we didn't get any news. All they said that they have received the police checks and decision not made yet. And we were just like freaking out. And I was really worried, because I was like, what if my husband gets to be sent back to Korea or something? So I reapplied, because you're able to apply again for an open work permit to renew it. And I applied on the end of December of 2017. I pay around $200 something. I can't remember exactly how much, but I pay around $200 and something to renew his open work permit. Honestly, by the end of January, I would say January 25, we got a letter from immigration saying that he has been approved for sponsorship, and that he needs to wait, that they're gonna contact him soon for his landing meeting, I guess. Yes, with a specific time and date that he has to go to the landing office for him to get his PR. But I was like, oh my god, we were excited, we were happy. So, but the thing is, I was like, okay, but we applied for your open work permit for no reason. So, that thing is, when I try to get my money refund, they will not refund your money. They did not refund my money, even though it was literally 25 days after he was approved for PR, for his PR residence in Canada, which really sucked. I lost just $200. They will not refund it back. I know there is a fee that you have to pay, which is $450 for the right of permanency, which is the fee you have to pay when you go to your landing meeting. I think it was $490, yes. But this was even the most complicated part. I actually paid the landing, the right of permanent residency when I sent the application on July 2016, and I didn't even know. I couldn't even remember that I paid $1,040, which included that. And so I ended up paying $490 again, thinking that I hadn't paid it. And when we went to his landing, which was February 2nd of 2018 of this year, when we went there for his landing, it was in the visa office in Etobicoke in Toronto. When we went there, honestly, I thought that they were gonna ask me because they technically do ask you for that fee, but they didn't ask me for it because it was already paid and they had that in their system. but I was able to get that refund, and I will make another video on how you can get the money refund really quickly by using their online system, which is very quick. This will be in another video, by the way. So that was another mistake I made, honestly. So well, at least I didn't have to pay double time, I guess. And it was refunded. After that, we had another problem. After he did his landing on February 2nd, 2017, they said it takes around 6 weeks to get your permanent residence card in the mail. Unfortunately, throughout the year, we had moved to a new place due to a problem we had in the previous home. And we did update our home address with immigration. However, I highly suggest that if you're sponsoring or you're doing any application in Canada, like when it comes to sponsorship, do not move from your place. Stay there, because immigration is not so great when it comes to updating your home address. I mean, I updated that address more than 10 times and they still made a big mistake. They send our my husband's permanent residence card to our old home, and they sent it on March 15, they said. March 15 of 2018, they sent it after he did his landing on February 2nd, 2018. So only took like 6 weeks or so. They sent it to our old home address. So which was a problem, because when the people that lived there, they really didn't like us. And they were not such a great people. Even though it was proved that it was delivered to their home, my husband's permanent resident card, we have suspicion that they threw it away in the garbage. They saw problem husband and they just threw it. They didn't care, because they really did not like my husband. And honestly, I felt really quite sad. I mean, we have no proof that they did that, but it was most likely they did that, because we tried to go and speak with them and they refused to speak with us. They were just, I would say, probably the worst neighbors ever. And so that was honestly really sad, because after 19 months after we had sent the application, my husband was approved. He did his landing, and now they send my husband's permanent resident card to our old home address. And those people, since they don't like us and they really, honestly, I can say they really hated us, they most likely threw it in the garbage and we couldn't get it back. So I spoke with immigration, told them our situation, our story, and how we did not receive the card and how it most likely was lost. They said we still needed to wait like 2 months, like 6 weeks, in order for us to reapply for a new card. And I was like, what? This is just crazy. This is just too much. And honestly, it felt like it just never ended. And I would say March, April or May, mid-May, I resend the application, which is one form. It's like, what's it called? It's the lost form for PR cards, IM